Hey there, divers! Today, we're looking for the legendary Scythe Butterflyfish. This warm water native that happened to be transplanted to Southern California is an absolutely magnificent little member of the butterflyfish family, Prognathides falcifer. Known in several locations around Catalina Island, today we're going to be looking for it at Crane Base on the west end. Riding the Giant Stride dive boat today, we're going to be starting as normal in San Pedro at the Maritime Museum. Check out this video here for more information about the Giant Stride. Crane Base is located here on Catalina Island, just east of two harbors. The site is just below this impressive rock face. On the western side of the site, you can see this nice gravelly beach. There's really nice shallow kelp there. The rock outcropping in the center there is the actual Crane Base itself. And as we continue eastward around the corner there, it's going to be a nice gravelly slope down to a little more than 100 feet. Hitting the water for the first time today, we're welcomed by absolutely stellar visibility, nice blue water. We're going to be keeping it nice and shallow today, max depth of a little less than 50 feet. We know that our quarry, this Scythe butterfly, will be hanging out in the rocks, typically right on the edge of the forest, right around that 30-40 foot mark. They're pretty small fish. We're going to have to keep our eyes peeled to spot them. And that's going to be a little bit challenging today because as you can see, that sunlight filtering through the kelp with this immaculate water quality is going to be a little bit distracting when we're looking for tiny fish hiding in the boulders. Speaking of distractions, let's take a nice little picture of our friend Chris here. Look at that smiling diver. Just after that, our first target is spotted. Just beneath this rock lies our very first Scythe butterflyfish of the day. And when you look at that, it's gone. These are very skittish little fish, and they're a little bit hard to pin down. Thankfully, not too long after, we spot our second scythe of the day, just under here. Let's see if we can get a nice little shot of this guy. If you look carefully, you can see him on the rock just behind that Garibaldi in the center of the frame. And once again, he's a little bit too shy. No pictures for you, Diver JJ. That's all right. There's plenty of reef, and there's at least a dozen of these Scythe butterflyfish inhabiting this area, so I guess we'll just keep moving and try somewhere else. You see me twiddling that knob on the side of my camera housing there. I'm running a 12 to 40 millimeter zoom today, so we're gonna have opportunities for some nice close-up portraits, as well as some nice wider landscape pictures. Speaking of, let's get a nice close-up of this little sea bass here. Hey there, buddy. I guess everyone's a little shy today. That's all right. We got time. Even though the fish have been a little bit less than cooperative today, it's still an absolutely stellar time just kicking it along this reef. Look at those views. It feels like it's been forever since we've had sunlight out during good diving hours. It feels like we've had a marine layer hanging over us for the last 9 months or so. Good news, now until the end of the year is probably peak diving time here in SoCal. Check out that beautiful kelp. Eagle Eye Hansi is in the lead there with the white fins. It's going to point out a nice little scythe for me to check out. Unfortunately, he's even more skittish than the last ones, and he's on the run, heading down to the sand. I managed to track him down to his lair. You can't escape me now, little butterfly fish. Look at that. Absolutely bizarre to see this kind of fish here in Southern California. Water's only about 65 degrees Fahrenheit, and yet look at that beautiful tropical butterfly fish. Absolutely stunning colors and pattern, just hanging out, happy as can be. That said, that's the only shot I got so far today. We've seen 3 butterfly fish, and we've got 1 photo to show for it. Let's hope we get a little better luck, keeping it moving forward. I really fell in love with this little hillside here. Really nice, big, chunky boulders melting down into the sand, and nice, sparse kelp letting that sunlight filter through. I'm laying on my back here. It's hard to tell, but I think a lot of the time, instead of looking up, angling your body, it's a lot easier to just lay on your back, and puts you in a nice position and look up at the sunlight, up at that kelp. Eagle Eye Hansi is flagging me down. I think he's found another scythe for us. Yes, yes, somewhere in these rocks our quarry lies. Yes, there, hiding in the shadows. Pull out your cameras, look at this little guy go. He's even gonna give us a little yawn. What a sweetheart. Kind of a terrible photo, but that's alright. We got another one. And just like that, he too is gone. 4 scythes, 2 photos. Let's keep this up. Here's our next target. And there goes our next target. I cannot catch a break. I can't lie, at this point I'm getting a little bit demoralized. I feel like I really don't have a lot of photos of these scythes. We're just about to hit our turning point. We really don't have too much more time to capture these fish. If I wasn't surrounded by such absolute, unimaginable SoCal beauty, I'd be a little bit more pissed off. Thankfully, it's a gorgeous day. Let's roll on our back, take some pictures of the sunshine, and try not to think about how these scythes have screwed us over just a little bit today. At this point, we've turned around. We're gonna be making our way a little bit shallower, not hanging out on the edge of the reef there. We're gonna be coming up toward the top of a little bit of a crest, heading up this rocky slope, just following these nice little alleyways through the kelp. Here I'm gonna spot one of my favorite shots of the day, looking through this little porthole past these pieces of kelp, these nice big rocks, and I'm gonna giggle at these little sheep heads just swimming right in front of me. Excuse me, fellas, trying to take a picture here. The water just has that perfect refractive quality. It acts like a natural black mist filter, just adding that little bit of dreamy haze to all your shots. Sometimes quality shots don't take a lot of time to execute. Here I'm just gonna spot a little bit of something through this alleyway here, roll over, take a snapshot, and look at that. I love that one. This is one of my favorite pictures from the day. Now we're going to run into another one of my favorites, but for a very different reason. It's not the most gorgeous shot, this little Garibaldi just hanging out in the open, but what is my favorite is this Garibaldi has a ton of panache, real character, this guy. So we're just going to hang out, come up into this field, and then in my 360 later on, I didn't know he was doing this, I captured this clip of him pecking my primary light. Have no idea what he thought he was going to get out of trying to take a bite out of it, but he even came back for seconds and really thought about it before turning back around and heading back to the rocks. What a funny little guy. From here, we're going to do one of my favorite things. We're going to head deeper off the slope, but we're not going to change our actual depth. So we're going to be hanging out 15, 20 feet above the bottom. We're still 20, 30 feet deep ourselves. It's kind of like we're gliding through the upper canopy of this kelp forest. It's really an amazing sensation. A lot of divers just hang on the bottom, hug it, looking for lobsters and little things in the rocks and gravel. But once you learn to just come up here, look up and forward and enjoy the kelp at your level and travel up along its height, it's just amazing. This is when diving really feels like flying. When you've got a bunch of space beneath you, you're hovering way up above the ground. There's still tons of water above you. You can look up and around. You're just exploring the inner space. Looking out over this field of cropped kelp stipes, it's almost like looking out the second-story window down at some shorter structures. We're going to be moving back toward the shore, closing that gap between our bellies and the sand, and getting really, really shallow as we finish up our dive here. Unfortunately, we're not going to get any more time with the scythes, but that's all right. We saw them, we took a couple pictures, and most importantly, we had a damn good time on this dive. Coming up real shallow now, we're in front of that little beach that I pointed out in the beginning of the video. You can look up through the Snell's window and see that beautiful rocky cliff up above us. Pretty incredible view, really, to look up there and see that. Up here in the shallows with some good lighting, I'm going to take a couple quick portraits of our local celebrities, just things to add to the portfolio, some nice little ID shots. These are good for like fish ID books and stuff. And then look at that kelp with that big rock face in the background. Finishing up our dive here, Hansi's gonna ask me, hey, do you wanna go up to the surface, look around, maybe spot the boat? And I point out the boat ladder is directly in front of us. We can see it clear as day. It's all right, buddy. Sometimes I forget to take my pills in the morning too. That's it for today. Stay tuned next time. We're going to be doing some absolutely fantastic scootering around Disneyland. I'll see you then. Stay safe and happy bubbles. Bye-bye now.